Well, hello, change makers, and welcome back to Mindset Live. I'm Marissa, and I'll be your trainer for today. Now, we've been spending more time indoors. Maybe you're starting to get out a little bit more, but if you've turned on the news over the last few weeks or even the last few days, we are all dealing with a lot, and mental health has to be our top priority, no matter what's going on. So, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about self-care and different ways that you can do it. And when you think about self-care, there might be these images of, bubble baths and elaborate spa treatments, and those can definitely qualify as self-care. But I'm here to tell you that there's a simpler way, and you can absolutely incorporate little ways to do self-care into your daily habits. So I'm hoping that by the end of today's session, you'll feel a sigh of relief and knowing that you don't have to go through drastic measures to take care of yourself. And hopefully you'll feel inspired to try some of the tips that I'm going to share with you to do self-care right in your own kitchen. But as we always do, we like to start with our gratitude tradition. So I'm going to ask you to kind of think about one thing that you're grateful for and share it with me in the chat box at the bottom of your screen. Now, we do this because gratitude has been shown to make a huge difference in the way that we feel, and especially our mindset and even our physical health. So go ahead and share one thing, no matter how big or small, that you're grateful for in the chat box at the bottom of your screen in the app. And I'll go ahead and share mine while you're doing that. So I am really grateful today for the fact that I have friends who check on me. So just getting a text message or an unexpected phone call has really made a huge difference. Just knowing that someone's thinking about me and wondering how I'm doing, and even being able to vent and talk just a little bit about what's going on. So I'm really grateful for that. Now I want to take a look and see what you guys are grateful for. So Sarah is grateful for her daughters. Yes, they can bring so much joy, and there's so much with being able to appreciate the fact that you have family and your daughters. Carrie is grateful for herbal tea on my back this morning. Yes, on my back deck this morning. That's fantastic. So taking those little moments, Carrie, you're already practicing self-care, so that's fantastic. Grateful for the rain last night. Everything is so green. It is, and that really does bring about a lot more joy. Just seeing everything so lush and green, especially in the spring, is really nice. Grateful for my husband's safety. Yes, I love that. We cannot undervalue that. And then grateful for a sunny day. So just like those green, the green trees and the grass, nature really does play a huge role in helping us to feel a little bit better. So those are all fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing the things that you're grateful for. Now, let's go ahead though with grateful hearts and with gratitude fresh in our hearts. Let's go ahead and dig into today's topic. So we're going to talk about self-care, but in a less overt way. So thinking about ways that you can do it right in your own kitchen. Now, if we just think about the act of cooking, really it's a very mindful experience. So you think about the stirring and the chopping and all those sounds and aromas that go along with cooking. It can actually be quite the self-care experience if you just take a little bit of time to be aware of it. But I want to dig into just a few things that are a little more specific. So the first thing that I'm going to recommend, if we are maybe trying to take a little bit better care of ourselves, is to declutter the pantry, the fridge, to help declutter the mind. So having a fridge or a pantry that's really well organized can really help to free up some mental space and maybe even reduce stress a little bit. And here we talked earlier in Mindset Live a little bit about designing your environment for success. And this really does play a role, because one thing that you can do in the fridge, for example, clear out the 5 different bottles and jars of mustard or mayo and, throw some of those away, make some room for fresh fruits and vegetables that are bright and colorful. Go ahead and put those in the front of the fridge, and that way you're going to be inspired to pull from those first. And think about other little ways that you can do that. So if you're clearing out the pantry, can you put your whole grains in jars so that you can see those beautiful grains and be inspired to have some oats for breakfast in the morning? Think about ways that you can design things and putting those foods that make you excited to eat a little bit healthier, put those right up front, and making sure that you are inspired by the shelves that you open up every day is going to make a huge difference in just how you feel. So think about ways that you can make that your own in your own kitchen. Now, so that helps to declutter the space and then also decluttering the mind at the same time. Now, let's think along the lines of hydration. So it's getting hot, at least where I am, it's already hot. It's already in the high 80s on most days. And hydration is really important year round, but especially in the summer. So one way that you can kind of boost up your self-care routine in the kitchen with hydration is to play around with spa water. Now, whether you've been to a spa before or not, you've probably seen brunch tables or spa water, right? You can make it at home though. It's so easy. All you have to do is get some filtered water, put it into a pitcher with some ice, make sure it's nice and cool, and then add in your fresh herbs or any of your favorite fruits or vegetables, right? So you can do basil and strawberry, cucumber and mint, or just simply melons. Whatever works for you, whatever you have available, whatever colors you'd like, go ahead and add those to the water and sip on them. Just take a minute and just sip on it. You'll find that you can just really slow down and really enjoy just simple spa water. Another thing that you can do to stay hydrated is to try a mocktail. So let's say you want to have a little special time. Someone mentioned having tea on the deck. Maybe in the evenings you want to do a mocktail. And mocktails are fun because you can play around with different things. So you might try a kombucha, or you might add in some seltzer with your favorite fruit juice, a little bit of ginger to kind of spice things up. You can have a lot of fun playing around with mocktails in the kitchen, and that counts as self-care. I promise. It's fun, it's hydrating, so it's actually nourishing your body, and you're taking care of yourself. So those are two things that I encourage you to try out. Now, the next one might sound a little bit different. I'm going to encourage you to meditate while you're baking bread from scratch. Now, you're thinking, okay, if you've ever meditated, it didn't involve bread, I know. But most of the time when we think about meditation, we think about, sitting cross-legged on the floor, the lights might be dim, there might be candles. But the truth is, you can meditate in many different ways. You can meditate while walking, you can meditate while sitting in a chair. The key is to just find a way to have some mindfulness with movement. In this case, we're going to be kneading the bread and letting that sort of guide our thoughts, and allowing, with each knead of the bread, maybe you're just allowing those thoughts to dissipate, to go away. And it gives you the ability to sort of focus on something else for a good bit of time. And so I'm a big fan of meditation in the kitchen by way of bread making, because you don't necessarily, you get a lot from it, right? So you get the meditation aspect, but you also get fresh bread at the end, which to me is a big plus. Now, along the same lines, and one more thing about meditation before I go off to the next point. Meditation is so important because it has been shown to help lower blood pressure levels, anxiety. So it is something that, whether you're baking bread or doing something else, it's a great way to sort of get your mind in a better mindset. Now, the last thing I want to mention is to think about taking care of something else as a way to take care of yourself. Now, what I mean by that is to think about plants that maybe you can keep on the windowsill in your kitchen. So that can be basil or parsley. Those are perfect for the summer. You can put them in water, or you can put them in, you can just plant them in a small pot in the windowsill, take care of it. And you can even use the basil leaves to get a little bit of aromatherapy every now and then. You can use the mint in your tea. There's lots of different ways that you can make the most of that. And finally, along those same lines, if you have never tried working with a starter to make bread, that's something else that you can nurture and take care of. That'll give you a little bit of time to create some mindfulness in the kitchen, which also translates to self-care. So those are the things that I'm going to encourage you to kind of think about, and maybe see if you can incorporate one or two into your routine, because it's going to help, hopefully, to reduce stress and just to make you feel better overall. Now I'm ready to turn the tables, and I want to ask you how do these sound? Do these sound like options that you can try and things that you might want to incorporate into your daily habits or into your kitchen? So go ahead and tell me in the chat box below if any of these things resonated with you, or if there was another idea that maybe sparked that you might be able to try for a little self-care in the kitchen. So for me, so while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and share what I'm going to be doing. For me, I am planning to make pizza dough for the first time on my own. So usually I buy pizza dough, but I'm gonna definitely take myself up on the whole idea of making bread in the kitchen as a way to practice self-care. It's great because I get to flavor it however I want, and I have a feeling it's going to taste better than the ones that I've been buying from the store. So let's take a look and see what you're thinking. So I love the aromatherapy possibilities. Yes, it makes a huge difference, and to think that you can get that from herbs, you know, thinking mint or basil right there whenever you're ready. Absolutely. Mindful food prep. So chopping veggies can be so soothing. Yes. You know, that just the simple motion, but also the sounds. So definitely dig into that. I'm seeing, okay, someone says they love these ideas. The pizza dough sounds fun. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I'm actually really looking forward to it. So these are fantastic. I'm so glad that these are helpful for you, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to incorporate one or two and see a difference in how you feel. Now, as we round out today's session, all about self-care in the kitchen, I'm hoping that you'll be able to share this with someone else. We like to close out our Mindset Live sessions with a call for generosity, and that's what this means. So just sharing with your family, your friends, your neighbors, these ideas, and hopefully helping to brighten their life just a little bit more, to give them a little extra something as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. I can't wait to see you next week. Bye.